All right, good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. It's not too bad a night, so, first, I'm gonna point out the exits. That exit's the way you came in, it goes out through the foyer, that door goes directly outside. This goes through my office and out through the hall. That's not an exit. So the first item on our agenda tonight is a public hearing to amend our stormwater local law. This law basically allows the stormwater management officer and the program coordinator to require soil disturbance permits, erosion sediment and control plan, and/or stormwater pollution prevention plan for areas less than 1 acre. Right now, state law requires that anything over an acre have all that stuff, but under an acre is not regulated, so we want to approve that for our environmentally sensitive areas. It also has provisions for maintenance requirements for the stormwater management facilities. So is there anyone that would like to comment on this local law this evening? All right, we'll close the public hearing.
Well, we got someone.
Oh,
Murray Heitzman, 60 Round Lake. I looked for the document online, and it wasn't with the agenda and documents. I did that this afternoon.
he's saying that the stormwater management law was not on the local law.
Do you have a copy, Jim?
I do, it's right on the table. It was in the document agenda center. It's under the public hearing announcement and calendar on the website. And
Yeah,
the document is presented right here
Right,
out on the
so
table.
it's attached to the public hearing announcement. You're welcome to have my copy if you want it now.
That's fine. I just
Sure, yeah.
noted that. I looked for it both the
Yeah, it probably
agenda section and also in
It probably should have also been included in the email, but it would have been, it was definitely there last time when we set the public hearing.
Okay.
But it probably should have been there again tonight, so we'll, it was there under the permit, but
And could you give us just the reason for extending this below an acre?
mostly it's because we have a lot of areas in the town that are environmentally sensitive. As you know, we've got a lot of building on less than 1 acre, particularly down by the lake and in the Drummond Creek shed. And we feel that it's, important to protect that watershed. And this is, basically allows our stormwater management people to at least have some oversight. And on the other side, the things that are built, an example is Taco Bell, built on less than an acre, they have a stormwater management system. Typically, we want to have an agreement with them that they are the ones to maintain it and make any repairs in the future. Typically, we've had situations where those have failed, and it ends up being the responsibility of the town to make the improvements, and it's kind of not fair to the rest of the town to have to maintain these systems that they should.
I know as part of the ZBA, we've often asked for more stormwater management information and even some design plans for people on the lake.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we're trying to do, is have some more oversight on the, the lake particularly.
Yep, thank you.
Yep, thank you, Marie. Anybody else?
Supervisor, I just wanted to clarify that it is on the website, correct, Jen? It's just under the public hearing aspect of it, just for clarification. So technically, the public hearing is outside of our normal agenda meeting or discussions. So it's just listed in the center of the page under the public hearing. And it was noticed and published and put on our website and postage board and in the paper, correct?
Correct.
And you have those affidavits with?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
We will then close the public hearing at 6:05. And I'll ask everyone to stand, if you can, to salute the flag, and then a moment of silence afterwards. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item of action is to accept the town clerk minutes from January 13th.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, comments from town residents.
Hi, Cynthia from Malta. Basically, I was coming home from the doctor's today, and I just happened to notice when I looked down in the ravine, which is all wetlands, it says 75 acres available. You're not selling the wetlands, right? You're not building up in there, right?
I don't know where specifically you're talking about.
Literally, right down in the ravine. All right, the corner to my house is the ripe tomato corner and the ice cream. If you go straight north, just a little bit, you're gonna see the openings to my park where I live. Right there's the guardrails. Right down in them guardrails, down in that side over there, there's a sign that says 75 acres available. Not those acres, right? Because that's wetlands. It's for the animals. It's actually not supposed to be touched.
Just because someone's selling the property doesn't mean they're building on the property.
That will never be built on, right? Wetlands is wetlands. They're supposed to be protected.
They are protected.
They are protected,
New
so
York State.
nobody's gonna do anything down there to the, I mean, it's
I
the
mean, there
wetlands.
might be other parts of the property that are,
No, it's all wet
buildable.
down there. I know, cause I had to chase my, my pit bull back up to the thing when he got loose one time years ago. That's all wet, and literally you got this much water down in there in places, and if you look at where you think is gonna be a stump of grass, it's not. Believe me, don't step on it. You're gonna squish right down, and it stinks. But I just don't want them building in there and doing stuff in there that, and you can look at the hill where the park sits on, you can see that foundation of all the, how it goes right down to a cliff. Like any dirt comes or real bad rains or something there, I just feel bad for the people that are actually on this side. Also, to have to be affected by something that's gonna go in 75 acres of wetlands. I was just trying to make sure I'm still protecting the wetlands by my house.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, well, we will, oh. You guys gotta get up quicker. I'm ready to move on.
Peter Brooks, I live on Nelson Avenue Extension. Good evening. Members of the town board, I wanted to take this opportunity to publicly thank you all for taking the time to meet with our citizen study group over the past few months. As you know, we've been working on the role of planned development districts in Malta. PDDs are, by definition, an exception to the zoning map, which comes from the town comprehensive plan. PDDs have often resulted in much higher density development and thus have often been controversial. Over the past few months, each of you has been willing to sit down with us individually and discuss PDDs, and we're very appreciative of your time and interest. And we were pleased to find that each of you agreed that Malta's PDD zoning code could use an overhaul. So our group went to work. First, we noted all of your observations and ideas. Second, we studied the PDD zoning codes of other towns in the county for more good ideas. Third, we developed a concept set of issues and solutions. And then finally, we drafted the text for a proposed new PDD zoning code for Malta. And to be honest, we think it's pretty good. In its new version, the town's PDD zoning code should benefit both the town and applicants alike by outlining a more specific set of requirements and a more straightforward review process. The net result should be that all parties will have a good idea right from the start whether a PDD application will be approved or not. We believe this much clearer, streamlined process should save the town board, concerned citizens of the town, and future applicants a lot of time and anxiety. And all parties will know exactly what substantial benefits the town would gain by permitting any particular PDD. We believe our recommendation should also help assure that as growth continues in our town, it will occur in a careful, thoughtful manner, which will keep Malta a desirable place to live now and into the future. Last week, we emailed our recommendations and summary document to each of you, so you know everything I'm talking about here. We recognize this is a good deal of information and it will take some time to review it, and we recognize that changing the existing zoning code is also a process that will take some time and consideration. However, we sincerely hope that you all see this issue as important enough to launch right away into that process of considering and adopting a revised PDD zoning code. Please reach out to us if we can be of any further assistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. We'll keep you in the loop.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. My name is Tom McDermott. I live on Avondale Drive, right here in Malta. I just want to follow up on some of the comments Peter made because they're very important. And I also like to commend the board for your activity in meeting with his group and going through the details. It's very important. Initially, I haven't worked on this group with Peter. I have read the documentation and all of his suggestions. However, I'm only speaking as somebody from the outside looking in. The four issues that he brought up, I have some comments relating to what my feelings are. I'm not an expert in this process. Unfortunately, right now, there's not a handbook that the general population can go to get a clear understanding of how a PDD works and how the request goes through. So I'm a novice. I think most of us in the community are. We go to the meetings, we're concerned, and we appreciate your attention. Of the four issues, the first one, in evaluating the PDDs, you folks look at town benefit. What is a benefit? For instance, some of the examples that we looked at are sidewalks, money that's been offered on occasion, and also the concept of if we don't do this, what else is going to happen to the property? Now, in reality, that's not really a benefit. If the zoning says that it's zoned for certain purposes, we should hold to that. The second of the four issues is open space, which is near and dear to my heart. What is open space? Open space, in a layman's term, is the availability of land that we all can enjoy. Sometimes that's not the case when these PDDs come up. They're just avenues to cross the property. it's a vague issue. I think we need better definition. The process itself, again, to a layman, it's difficult to follow. We've had different developers come up, give presentations to the board, and the board has denied the ability of that presenter to have a workshop. Other times, presentations have been made and we'll schedule a workshop. And it's rather confusing as if they're denied, what's next? What's the recourse? Is it dead on the vine? Do they have to go back and revisit everything? And also inherent in the process is this negotiation process that goes on with the workshops. Developer comes in, let's say, with 200 homes, and the process goes like, all right, he'll back off and go with 150. That's really not the way it should work. It shouldn't be a negotiation. It should be provide a PDD, discuss the merits of it, and go from there. Finally, realistic housing. A lot of talk about affordable housing. The term attainable housing has been thrown out, which is really confusing, because the way I see it, if a developer comes in and offers 100 apartments, and he says, well, my cost of construction is going to be low, my cost of purchase of land is going to be low, I'm going to pass on that to the renters, and consequently, the rents are going to be attainable. In reality, the developer comes in, develops the property, turnkeys it to somebody else. There's no follow-through on attainable housing. It's market-based housing. But again, that's all I have to say. Thank you much for your time.
Thanks, Tom. And you're correct that attainable housing is very elusive, and it's something that I'm not, just can't seem how to harness it. I basically agree with, all of your remarks.
Thank you.
So, and we do, the PDD legislation will be something that we will definitely be discussing very shortly.
Sorry, it's me, Cynthia, again. I'm confused. Okay, you said that New York State is protecting that land because it's wetlands. So New York State must own that property, so New York
No.
State's not selling that property if it's wetlands.
No, New York State doesn't own wetlands.
But New York State forces that landowner to actually keep that wetlands, right? That's what wetlands are preserved for from New York State. Am I correct?
Wetlands are protected in New York State.
Correct. And those are considered wetlands. And if New York State is protecting them, I'm going to make sure that New York State's going to protect those. I mean, there's a lot of animals over there. The coy dogs live down there. Everything lives down there. They're actually squished all up in there now because of the thing that happened in Malta across from the Malta drive-ins. You took all of the woods, and I'm going to say if I went to go walking back there, it's probably to the north way. I mean, there's a lot of woods gone out of there. You push the animals, and where do you want them to go? And honestly, they don't deserve to live around here too, and everything, all our view of all this is just going to turn, and I don't want to say the S-bomb in here, so I'm not. Another S city? It rhymed with the city. Honestly, I don't want to live like that. I came out here to actually be in the country. That's why I moved out here, is to feel like I was out in the country. I had a little bit of space to call my very own. I bought my trailer just like everybody else did. It sits on, I don't even know how much of a grass, and I pay $660 a month just to keep my thing on that grass. But I want the view to remain the same. Malta's a town, but it's starting to turn into that taco thing. I mean, just everything that's going on around here. It's just getting cluttered. And I'm starting to feel like I don't fit in anymore. But wait, I was here first. All these people that feel like I do, and I don't see them, I don't know them, feel like I do. We're getting squished in here. Just, it's really an awful lot. But to sit there, the wetlands, that's like off limits. I don't care if I gotta call Donald Trump or something. That's not gonna happen. Whatever that wetlands is down there. The animals are here too. I love animals. As much as I love people.
Thank you, Cynthia. Anyone else? Last chance.
Mrs. Young, I just wondered, I see two young gentlemen sitting in the back. I'm wondering if they're here visiting from school and if they would mind introducing themselves?
I'll get it for you. That's that's Adam Rubenstein from Boston Spa. He's an up-and-comer, and I don't know who your buddy is. There you go. I wrote it down.
Thank you, you're welcome.
They're here because they really want to be here. I know. And they need somebody to sign that
I didn't mean
agenda
to
for
steal
them.
I'm sorry. But I already wrote them down.
Okay, if there's no more public comments from the town board and department heads, I, of course, have a couple of things. First of all, there's a lot of talk about zoning and PDDs and rezoning and moratoriums, so I am proposing that we have a workshop with the board, which will be an opportunity for us to get together, sit informally. It'll be open to the public. We're gonna have the zoning maps in front of us and discuss, exactly what it is that we, want to see the path forward. I'm proposing to meet before our regularly scheduled meeting next week at 4 o'clock. I think it's a discussion that may take some time, so I want to allow 2 hours. It may be the first of a series, or maybe it'll be the first, and we'll figure it all out then. So is the members of the board available next week?
I'm available and I support the workshop to discuss a moratorium. And just to clarify, this initial workshop would be crafting the legislation, what the moratorium is going to address, and eventually when the moratorium will expire, how long it would go to, what goals we're trying to meet there with the moratorium. Is that correct?
Yes. And just the regular zoning update also.
I
are.
support that,
We're
and
going.
I would support that if we do pass the moratorium, which I do support, I have for a year now, that the workshop will then keep going to address what zoning we want to change and bring it up to the comprehensive plan.
I'm going to agree with Matt that it's short notice, in my opinion, I'm available for the workshop and a kickoff and stuff like that, but we need to probably publish a schedule so the people can plan accordingly to have, to make the workshops and whatnot, and instead of not haphazardly, that's a bad word, spontaneously, because it's very important that we sync our comp plan with our zoning. And I'm all in favor of a moratorium too on stop building in this town until we figure what the future is going to look like.
My concern is that we've had a tool to do moratoriums that we don't use that often, and we're considering going forward, but I'm concerned the fact that the workshop is first. Is that the normal standard before a public hearing on it? Steve?
One thing is, I read your thing, your remarks from the supervisor in Clifton Park basically say to prepare that for the future. And yes, I think we have to have a workshop to discuss at least what exactly we want to accomplish with a moratorium. We can't just jump willy-nilly into it.
Well, it's my understanding that other towns have tried this and they've really botched it up bad. That's how come I'm questioning this.
So,
As long as it's right and we don't get caught on it, I don't have any issues.
well, the updating or the passing of a moratorium is a product of zoning change, and a zoning change requires a local law, and it requires a public hearing, it requires referral to the county planning board. So the process is to craft that local law. I think the purpose of the workshop, in addition to addressing the larger concern of other zoning updates and is to discuss what the needs for the moratorium are and what's going to go into that local law.
Right.
So once we have that, I can prepare a local law that then would be subject to the public hearing. You can, a workshop is just a town board meeting. It's subject to the same rules as any town board meeting. So open meeting laws require that we do it in public.
So I can speak my mind.
Yes, you may.
There we go. We're all set then.
All right. So that would give me the guidance, and you can hear from your planning department or your engineer or whoever else you think is necessary. If you're incorporating changes to PDD legislation, you have a citizen group that's obviously been working hard on it, and
Very hard.
so there's different people that can participate in the workshop, or if it requires more than one, to put out a schedule as Councilman Ricky suggested. But the process is really important because they are often challenged, and they also can severely impact property owners' rights. And that's why we want to do it right, and not just be transparent, but properly consider it and put that into our local law so it's crafted to not be overly broad or not miss something that we were intended to miss.
Yep.
And as far as the public, I mean, they've been telling us for quite a while that there's things that they question. It's obvious. We've heard them, so I definitely favor us to address the whole matter, PDDs, zonings, and our comp plan, all as one.
And we can schedule the future next week if when we meet, if that's what you want. So I'm fine with that, to give the public an expectation.
Well, like I says, I'm all for, discussion before, but, next meeting, but, to answer everyone's question, the onus is not on them. The onus is on us.
Yes.
So our failure will be our failure. So we invite the public in, but it's upon this board to get its act together and decide how we want this to marry up with our comp plan. And so it's our fault if we kicked the can down the road, all right? Just so you all know that. So, so when we talk about participation, it's hear the information, analyze the information, and then make a decision to go forward to write a law that we could all live by. And then, yes, we'll have a public hearing if they, and we'll understand it
When it's time.
when it's time.
Public hearing.
I'm available for 4 o'clock next Monday.
I'm available too.
Great.
3:50 for me.
Peter, are
He'll
you?
be here at 3:30. So, and I already checked with staff, so I think we're good there. So plan on that. Next I have, I want to, if you're familiar with our Veterans Park, our Captain David T. Wallington Veterans Park. They do a fundraiser every year where you sell bricks in memorial for anything you want to put on your brick, really. Does not have to be a veteran. A lot of them are, veterans, but they don't have to be. The bricks are $100 a piece, and there are order forms for the bricks. It supports the Malta Veterans Appreciation Program. I don't know if I said that, which is an organization, it's an incredible organization that does pretty much anything you can think of to help veterans in Malta. They take, arrange rides for doctor's appointments, they bring food, they revitalize homes and homeless veterans. So there's applications out there. I invite anyone to hopefully contribute. They also are available in the clerk's office. You can turn them into the clerk, you can turn them into my office, and we'll get that done. Last, I just want to tell everybody that, most of my colleagues, that we're going to have a presentation next week by Slick Fiber, SLIC. It's a fiber optics company that is running some fiber optics in town, and they are requesting to host, that the town of Malta host something here. I don't know what you call it, where they put their equipment in our on our site. And, you know, they have some benefits that they think that they will offer us.
Is this in competition with, what's the last fiber company?
Greenlight.
Greenlight we did?
There's nothing to preclude us from also having them. Greenlight has stopped building in town. They will likely, looking at the map area, they're going to compete with Greenlight, but
I'm all in favor of the art of the deal.
yeah,
Somebody else.
it's somebody else.
Not
It is not Greenlight. Greenlight really didn't finish what they were planning to do in town anyway, so.
Yes.
So I said, you know, we'd hear them out,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And that's all I have. Anybody else?
Today was our first meeting of the Public Safety Committee. It was just before our Emergency Management Committee meeting. And we crafted what the future meetings will look like, whether it be monthly or quarterly, where every first responder entity, both the fire departments, EMS, and the two law enforcement agencies, state police and sheriff's department, got to address any concerns they have, maybe budgetary issues they are forecasting, and bringing up any issues they see in the town and how to address it. I think it was a pretty productive meeting. Actually went a little bit longer than I thought. There was a lot to be said. And our next meeting is February,
It's the day of our agenda meeting in February, 24th, 23rd, 24th.
February 24th at 11 a.m. And then that went into our Emergency Management Committee meeting where we discussed a business is trying to sell us a product, and that product is called TextMyGov. And it's a way for local governments to alert or message the citizens of the community through text messaging. And there's also a second part of that. It's called IPAWS, which stands for Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, which is operated under FEMA. And that is a way to push out any emergency management alerts, similar to an Amber Alert. The two separate things, we discussed both of them today, and I know Melissa has a meeting tomorrow with another company that has a similar product called Civic Plus, and I look forward to sitting on that one there too. So that's, as I said, there's other towns and municipalities, cities who have signed up for this. I want to reach out to them. The closest one I know is the town of Amsterdam, and see if they like the product that they purchased.
You know, I really want to thank, actually, Councilman McLaughlin for suggesting the Public Safety Committee. It was, I didn't think it went too long. It was a very productive discussion with the law enforcement and our first responders. And, you know, look forward to doing it again. Thank you for the suggestion.
I'm also going to fit in as kind of give my pitch for a recruiter for the Public Safety Committee. If there's anybody who wants to, we're looking for citizens of several neighborhoods in the town who may want to sit in on that meeting and kind of address any concerns you see going on in your town. There may be car vandalisms that we don't know about, or unwarranted soliciting and going through your neighborhood. Those are things that we're going to want to know about. If there's anybody out there who wants to join the Public Safety Committee, please let us know. Thank you.
We need a bigger conference table, though. It was kind of crowded in here.
Can I come to the next one?
No.
I was banned from the last one. Our cruise, it's not,
You can if you want. I'll stay home.
okay, I'm in.
Maybe we'll talk about it. Anybody else? Okay, then we will move on to our action items. The first one is to authorize attendance to the Association of Towns for the annual meeting, which is February 16th, 2025, and to February 18th, 2025. And that is Justice Fossey would like to go, and I am planning to go.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I think we're going to take the next resolutions 2 to 7 together. They're basically housekeeping items. Things that we either left off or typos from the organizational meeting. We needed to reappoint our town historian, Tom Williams. We need to reappoint a zoning board of appeals member, Tom Nicholson. We need to reappoint a community emergency response team member, Christine Bourgeois. Amend the town assessor's term. Her term number was not quite right in the minutes or in the agenda. We need to amend the term of the town health officer, and we need to amend the Board of Assessment Review appointment. There was a typo in the term at the organizational meeting. So I will enter it. First, are there any of those resolutions that you want me to take out so somebody wants to vote on separately? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adopt.
Can we have a discussion?
Yeah, well, yeah. we
Okay,
need
go
to
ahead.
Motion second first, but that's fine.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes. Tom, you're the man with all the answers, all right? We're going to help Cynthia out because you being the town historian, I'm sure there's census for the last 50 years, how many people been in this town, how many businesses have been, to get an idea how fast we're growing. I don't know if that's obtainable. I mean, I don't want to go back to 1802, but I mean, is that readily available? Like, hey, we're at 17,000, 10 years ago, we're at 15,000, and we're on pace with the national average, or are we growing exponentially faster than everybody else and more businesses? I mean, do you think that's obtainable?
I actually have a document with that information on it that I got recently from, I don't know where, but it's still in my email.
I think I sent it over to you. It's,
Maybe from the
the
client, from the,
data, the whole capital district
Right.
area. It's full of data.
How many years back does it go?
Apparently, you didn't read it, Al. Eh?
No, I didn't. How many years back ago?
That's good. It's
I
long.
think it goes back to like 2010,
Okay,
so,
please resend it.
I will.
Census Bureau, I think, has all that stuff every 10 years.
Oh, I know they do. I'm just saying, it's not at my fingertips.
this is something with more detail and specific to Malta and Saratoga County.
Yeah.
So we'll get that to you, so.
County has a lot of that.
Yeah.
All right, since everyone's seen it, everyone knows the answer except for me, are we growing at an above rate or below rate of the average of Saratoga, New York State, and the United States?
We're,
Want to see how we're growing?
yeah.
Yeah.
Start 50 years ago. Go along like this. Northway hits.
Yeah. We're growing basically at the same rate as most of Saratoga County, a little less actually than the bigger towns down south, Half Moon and Clifton Park. But,
But those figures and that kind of data is pretty easily obtained.
Yeah.
I can put it together.
No, if it's already done, it's remiss on me if I read it or didn't read it, but I'm just worried about, Cynthia said she moved here and, and
There's 14,803 people in 2010.
so.
About 2 seconds to find the rest.
I think progress is always going to be in our lifetime, though, and how we do about that progress, to be realistic. We're going to grow, we're not going to get less.
Any further?
Mm.
I didn't mean to give you work to do. It sounds like it's already produced. I got to reread it.
539,670.
The town of Malta is not at that,
No, it's
Saratoga County.
something I think at
Yeah.
this point.
It says the population in 2024, Malta, New York, was estimated to be 539,607.
Any further discussion?
It's probably around 20,000 in
I
Malta.
don't think it's even that much yet. I think it's like 18, maybe 19.
Anyhow, see the confusion?
Be happy to dig into that for you.
Yes.
Yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we had an employee that worked for our water department, Dave Wicks. We hired him when we hired everybody. He since is gone to another job, but we want to hire him temporarily as mostly to help out for a while. There are skills that he had that we aren't quite up to speed on, so we are recommending that we hire the temporary employee. His job is to be no more than 1 year and no more than 10 hours a week. So same guy.
So is he actually on call or is he under contract?
He's not under contract. He will be an employee and he will be used as needed, so, by the department.
Get a lot of head bob in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Can I
moved.
have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay. Second? Yeah.
Second.
Whatever way you want to do it, Jen. Any further discussion?
Yeah, so his temporary employee is an hourly wage?
Yes, $30 an hour.
What are the other, that seems like a lot. What are people getting an hour? Isn't it less than that?
It's my understanding he was more of a skilled.
What'd you say?
Currently, there's no one else at that same position or title.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is another water thing. We want to amend the assistant water superintendent. You may recall that we promoted one of the water distribution workers to the assistant water superintendent, and we hired him at a salary, and he would prefer to be hourly. So we are proposing that he be amended from a salary position to an hourly position at a rate of $27 per hour.
What was the price?
27. Can I have a motion? Second?
Second.
Discussion?
What was the salary?
The salary was $57,000. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
If he goes to hourly, he's actually gonna make less money. If
Well,
he does 40 hours, but anyhow.
It's overtime.
Okay.
So they have mandatory overtime, which is why he preferred the hourly. Next are discussion items. These two are mostly just housekeeping. We need to renew our intermunicipal agreement with the City of Saratoga Springs for animal control service. They approved it on January 21st. You'll recall when we did it before, they want to avail themselves occasionally or sometimes of our dog warden, our animal control officer. And this basically means that if he's injured up there, he assumes it's their liability, and it establishes a rate for them to reimburse us for his time.
So moved?
Second?
Second.
These are discussion
This is
items.
discussion
These are
item.
discussion items, just, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be acting on that next week.
Sorry.
We will also have to authorize the closure of Route 9 from the New York State Department of Transportation. We have to file a permit request for the Armed Forces Day Parade on May 10th, because we use the road. We will need, any discussion on that? We will need to establish the summer rates of pay and authorize the hiring of the staff for our summer camps. Any questions there? This is another thing that we actually have to discuss. We had a request from the receiver of taxes that we change her position from an elected position to an appointed position. This process would require a public referendum. It was, just for information, was it 2016?
2017.
2017. It was a referendum in the town of Malta in 2017, and it failed overwhelmingly. So, I really,
What's the benefit from going from an elected official to appointed?
you don't have to run for office.
Well, besides that, it sounds like, what are the other towns doing? Are they all appointees or are they elected officials?
Some towns don't even have a receiver of taxes, and I think,
I guess we're doing better than most towns then.
I honestly don't know. I didn't even look or try to find out. Does anybody know if other towns have elected receivers of taxes?
Steve, do you know that answer?
No.
I do not, but I can get it for you for next meeting.
Yeah, we can check, so we don't have to do it immediately, but
Yeah, I just don't understand. I guess we'll dig into it.
If this went to a public referendum, would we have a public hearing prior to that to get the, an opinion of the people, if this even should even go to a referendum?
Well,
I'm not sure what good a cross-section you'd get of
yeah,
people.
generally speaking, the processes for a referendum would not necessarily include a public hearing. If there was a specific reason why, you could, but it's an elected position. And if we want to change to that, the vote is the process in which to most, participate the most. And generally speaking, you don't have a public hearing and a referendum. If there are circumstances that warranted it, we could, but it's not really, the board has to evaluate, what's the rationale and reason for the change, and if you want to proceed, then we can look at the proper mechanism from there.
I will find out what other municipalities do. That's a good idea. We should have done it,
We could appoint me for another 4 years if you want.
It is a 4-year term right now for us, so.
Yeah.
Well, think about that, and see what you
I
think.
guess I'd like a little more information too before we decide that, who would be a supervisor or that sort of thing.
I want to be ready to action this next week.
No, that goes down a slippery slope when we start, elected officials are now appointed, because I think I raised my hand first, that I would like to be appointed for 4 more years. Now, can I get, anyone want to, hey, what are we doing here? I'm in.
I mean,
I think I can get a 3-2 on the board. I'm all in favor of it.
I'll have to think about that.
Okay.
What other appointed employees do we have?
I mean, everybody's appointed except for the,
Okay, it's
Elected.
considered appointed if you're hired as a,
right, the only elected, we have the 2 justices, highway superintendent, clerk, all of us. Is that it? And the receiver of taxes are the only elected positions in town. Everybody else is appointed. So. Yeah, so, I don't think there's any urgency with that. I don't know what the timeline is. If we wanted to put it on the ballot, we must have some time, I should think. The next item is policies regarding the use of town vehicles. Our handbook says that people that are on call are expected to be working for any sort of emergency. Managers, so working supervisors, can take their vehicles home. The town manual actually says that this town board has to specifically identify those individuals and authorize it by resolution. And pretty much don't think anybody's ever done that. So we're going to propose a resolution next week to authorize certain individuals to take town vehicles home. The 2 highway working superintendents take their vehicles home. The water superintendent and assistant superintendent take vehicles home, and we might authorize a couple of our maintenance people to be able to take the town vehicles home. They're all people that, in the event of an emergency, would be called in to work, so.
Are we voting on this next?
Yes, we will have a resolution next week.
All right, 'cause I really like to see the positions that we're authorizing from home, the domicile to work,
Yep.
because that does cost a lot of money for gas. And
So are you recommending that there's more than one vehicle taken out per department
Yes,
at the same time?
yes. In the,
Reasoning is,
well, in the event of a snowstorm, both Brian and Steve have to get here in a timely fashion to be, responsible for getting the guys out on the road to do the plowing.
was there an issue that triggered this, or?
Oh, no, just that we realized that it hadn't been done, that the town board should be authorizing specific individuals, and that has not been done. So yeah, there's no issue. It's not a result of anything other than trying to tidy things up.
Is there any time frame on that? Because is the guy that's the first responder for snow plowing, does he need to take a vehicle home during the summer?
They take their vehicle. Yeah, there could be any time there could be a
I'm
storm.
just saying, if we're gonna do, a statement of work or, guardrails left and right, besides just saying carte blanche, take a vehicle home, I would like to be that be specific and defined of who and for what reason and what time frame. That's just me.
Do they currently take the vehicles home?
Yes, they do.
Some of them do.
So
ahead.
Steve Gorey is one of the working supervisors.
I'm not, listen, it's a necessity, I'm all for it, but I'd like to have a little besides just
No,
go.
that's fine. My name's Steve Gorey. I'm one of the working supervisors, town of Malta. Been a supervisor for, I think, 7 years. Well, anyway, we're on call 24/7 as supervisors, so when Roger's not available, the sheriff's department calls us, tree down, flooding, whatever, we're on call. So we're the ones that have to come in, make the decisions, call the crew, execute the work, things like that. That's why, that's the reasoning behind that, just to give you some background.
I understand that portion of it, but again, who and how many needs to be defined, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yep.
That's basically what we
you're
plan to
saying,
do.
Steve, is when Roger is not available, they call you, right?
They call myself or they call Brian.
Brian, right.
Or, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Supervisor, it might make sense if this is going to be item next week, to Al's point, to maybe also have the policy, vehicle use
Yep.
policy as part of the
That part of the resolution, actually.
resolution, so
Yep.
that if there's a need, to edit the policy, you can edit the policy at the same time.
I think the policy is fine. It's just we realized that we were supposed to take action. But yeah, it'll be,
No, I'm not against, certain personnel having access, for with their duties and responsibilities, but again, we should define everything, you know what I'm saying?
Has to be some guidelines to it, I think.
anything else?
So there's
tonight?
the next item for the employee handbook.
The last item is we've been using our employee handbook for a couple of months and we have found some just errors or things that are language that is interpreted not the way we actually intended it to be interpreted. One thing is if you work on, the first one is that if you're assigned to work on a holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas Day, or New Year's Day, you get paid, like we had a big snowstorm Thanksgiving, they got paid double time plus holiday pay. If you're called in on Martin Luther King Day, it says that you don't get paid for the, we call it work holiday, the employees receive the premium pay rather than the regular hourly rate plus the holiday. So not double time. Thanksgiving was double time. You'd get the premium rate on the holiday.
I don't understand, a holiday is a federal holiday, why is some different getting paid?
The employee handbook that we adopted gives double pay for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Martin Luther King, only get time and a half, and the holiday. We want to add the language to call-in pay, that the call-in hours will be paid at the premium rate. When time is actually worked for time,
What's the minimum pay for a call-in? How many hours is that?
two.
2?
So basically, we need to, and the union employees have a whole different, they're not included in this whole change. Part-time employees, in the past, if they work in excess of 900 hours in the preceding calendar year, and they've completed 2 years of service, they're eligible for 20 hours of paid vacation. That language was just left off for whatever reason. It's always been the policy. For the clothing allowance, we have to add the water superintendent, the assistant water superintendent, and the water distribution system operators in the clothing allowance. And the last one is, the manual said that if you're called in and you've taken personal leave, vacation leave, sick leave, or holidays in that same week, they're not considered hours worked, so you don't get the premium time. We want to take out that little knot in there so that if you take a vacation time during the week and we have a snowstorm on Saturday, that vacation time counts as time work, and then you're eligible for the premium pay. So in the past, past pay period, we had a problem.
Can you repeat that? It's Tuesday, I took leave and went to Florida, and I'm having a snowstorm on Saturday. You're not gonna charge me leave for Tuesday? Is that what you just said?
You'll get the leave for Tuesday, but you'll also get the premium pay for Saturday.
That's fair, okay,
In the
yeah, I was
past-
just checking, yeah.
Right. You weren't getting the premium pay if you took a vacation day during the week. So we want to go back and fix that. So those are the changes. And we were kind of saving all of these changes, but in light of what happened with the last weekend snowstorm, we've decided to put them all forward this week. So those will be the changes that we're going to vote on next week, hopefully. Any other discussion on any of those?
Yeah, I got some.
Okay.
I'm sure any document that we have, especially like a handbook, there's gonna be amendments and things pop up. That's not a thing. We just gotta make sure we're looking at through the lens of taking care of the employees and going about things safe is the goal there. And since I gave everybody a lot of work, to include myself, to read some more, I appreciate everyone's help on this. And the last thing I got is, Adam, what's your takeaway, buddy? What's on your mind? What you think of this town board meeting?
I was wondering, the appointment thing, is it like even a necessity to change that? Is there any real reason to change it?
Of course, someone doesn't want to, what was the answer? Campaign? That was the answer.
No, it was basically a request from the current receiver of taxes. And we can do it if we choose to, and we don't have to do it if we don't want to.
That makes the process a lot easier.
The path of least resistance.
Right.
That's what that's it.
For that one person. Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I want to get on that path too.
Yeah, so presently, the position is an elected position that you need to run for office for. So if the change went through, you'd no longer have to run for your office, but you'd be appointed by the board members sitting here. So the process clearly would be a lot easier. And the state requires that change to be done, not just by the board, by resolution or local law, but to allow the public to participate. And that's what a referendum is. So it's either a special election where the public can vote on that, or it's put on the back at the regular elections where you flip it over on the back, and there would be a proposal to say, let's change this to an appointed position. So whenever the change is heightened importance, where the public can directly participate, they have provisions in the law to require that to happen. So minor things we can change, we can fix our handbook by resolution, but we can't change the elected status without the public's participation.
All kidding aside, thanks for coming. When I was your age, I didn't even know where the town hall was, where my town, to be honest with you.
They have it as a requirement for their government
It's
class.
still a good requirement. Thank you for coming.
And are you in Mr. Hornick's class? No? Okay. Oh, Ms. Cohen?
All right. And Matt's available for guest speaking in your classroom too.
We leave time at the end of our meeting for any additional public comment, if there's anybody.
Oh.
Yeah, Murray Heitzman again, 60 Round Lake Road. I like the idea of the Public Safety Committee. I'm glad that went well. Matt, you asked for citizen members. I'd love to join your next meeting.
You're in, Murray.
Thank you.
It says 17,499 in 2023. That's just the year before last, and it won't let me go to 2025 because we're not at the end of the year yet. I want to go to 2024. Oh, it did something different this time, I swear.
Well, it's all right. I think we were just trying to make, we're,
17,588.
yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that. I thought like, that's like 500,000 people, right? 500 and something thousand.
No.
I believe it.
Usually that
I feel
info
like the
is
store is
taken
crowded,
from
but not that crowded.
census also,
Anybody else?
I just
That
wanted to
was done
clarify
in
that I was wrong.
24.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
All, any,
Aye.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right.
Oh, no, wait. I'm not wrong. That's people that are born here. I'm not wrong. That's
I didn't mean to give you work.
What?
I didn't mean to give you work, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted, you know, it's like, it's ready, just, it's increasing, I understand, you know.
Yeah, yeah.